October 20th, 1967, Bluff Creek, Northern California. Two men ride horseback through the forest. They're not lost. They're searching not for gold or timber or lost hikers, but for a legend. What they claimed to find that day would become the most famous and most debated piece of cryptid footage ever recorded. Roger Patterson was a rodeo rider, amateur filmmaker, and passionate believer in the existence of Bigfoot. Bob Gimlin, his quiet, skeptical friend, joined him on this trip into the Six Rivers National Forest near Bluff Creek. The two men had horses, a rendered 16mm camera, and one shared goal: to prove that Bigfoot was real. They rode along the dry creek bed on that cool autumn day, the air heavy with silence and the scent of pine.
What was that thing? Did you see that?
About 100 feet ahead, a massive, upright creature stood near the waterline, looked straight at him, and walked away.
I can't believe my eyes.
Roger scrambled from his horse, grabbing the camera. The footage is shock-a-blurry at first, but what it captured became an icon. A tall, bipedal figure covered in dark hair, moving smoothly through the sandbar. It glances over its shoulder. That one looked timid, aware, and strangely human.
That's not an ape.
The creature would later be nicknamed Patty, and for decades, debates would rage. Was Patty real, or just a man in a suit? Roger Patterson always stood by his claim. He once said, "I'm telling you the God's honest truth. I wouldn't lie about a thing like this. I saw what I saw. I know what I saw. I didn't shoot it. I didn't run. I watched it walk away." And yet many didn't believe them. Skeptics claimed it was a hoax. A man in a gorilla suit. A publicity stunt. A clever trick. But others weren't so sure. And to people like Dr. Jeff Meldrum, professor of anatomy and anthropology, he studied the gait, muscle movement.
What is the truth behind this?
You can't fake that not with 1960s technology, he argues. You can see muscle groups flexing. Bill Moon's a special effects artist who worked in Hollywood, spent years trying to recreate the footage. He failed. "If that's a suit," he said, "it's better than anything Hollywood could make in 1967. After returning from Bluff Creek, Patterson quickly developed the film. He realized he had caught something truly incredible. Soon he was traveling the country, showing the footage to anyone who would watch. News stations, local community halls, even universities. Some viewers were stunned, others skeptical, but no one could look away. The film sparked a media frenzy. Newspapers ran headlines: "Man films Bigfoot. Sasquatch caught on camera." Roger Patterson began touring the footage like a traveling roadshow. He hoped to raise money for a full-length Bigfoot documentary. But then, Patterson got sick. He was diagnosed with cancer and died just 5 years later. In 1972, he never changed his story. Even on his deathbed, he insisted the creature was real. Bob Gimlin, however, stayed quiet for decades. He avoided interviews. Some say he feared ridicule. Others say he wanted peace. But in the early 2000s, he finally began to speak again. "I never talked because people twisted my words. But I never saw a man in a suit. I saw something I can't explain." Over the years, hundreds of experts, skeptics, scientists, and special effects artists have weighed in. Some claim to know who wore the alleged costume. Others say no suit has ever surfaced. No confession has ever stuck. Attempts to debunk the film frame by frame
I have no
lead
explanations.
to more questions than answers. Why is the creature's arm length non-human? Why does the walk look so biomechanically specific? And why has no one, in over 50 years, produced a suit or replica that holds up to scrutiny? In the age of high-definition CGI and deepfakes, it might be easy to dismiss a grainy old film from 1967. But somehow, this one still feels real. That shaky footage of Patting has been analyzed more than the Zapruder film of JFK, and it's still dividing opinions. To some, it's the best evidence we've ever had of Bigfoot. To others, it's an elaborate prank, clinging to life because we want it to be real. More than half a century has passed since Roger Patterson aimed his camera at a clearing in Bluff Creek. The world has changed, but the footage hasn't. It still haunts, fascinates, and challenges. What makes the Patterson-Gimlin film so enduring? Maybe it's not just what we see, but what we feel we're seeing. A creature that straddles the line between man and myth, between the known and the unknowable, between the primal and the possible. That one look over the shoulder, that brief connection, it lingers in the imagination. We live in an age of answers. Google, satellites, instant information. But Bigfoot remains a question, and maybe that's why the story lives on. Because deep down, we crave mysteries. We want to believe there are still wild things hiding in wild places, that not everything has been discovered or explained. The Patterson-Gimlin film may never be proven true, and it may never be fully debunked, but it reminds us that even in a world mapped and measured, legends still walk. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more tales of truth, myth, and the mysterious on Backtales Stories, because sometimes footprints are all that's left behind.